Welcome. I'll never forget the moment I realized everything I thought I knew about my wife. My marriage and my life was a lie. It wasn't a slow dawning, a gradual understanding of some hidden truth. No, it hit me like a freight train. Swift, brutal, and utterly devastating. The worst part, it wasn't just some nameless stranger who had come between us. It was Ben, my friend, my best friend since college, the man I had welcomed into our home, who had shared holiday dinners at our table, who'd laughed with us over backyard barbecues. In hindsight, the signs they're the small moments I brushed off thinking, no, not Ben, not my wife, they wouldn't do that to me. I remember how they used to joke around, their banter light and easy. At the time, I thought nothing of it. Ben was like family, practically a brother to me. And if anything, I was glad they got along so well. But now those memories make my stomach turn. The truth came out on a chilly November evening. I had just come home from work, tired but relieved that the weekend was finally here. The house was quiet. Too quiet. My wife Emily was usually bustling around by now, chatting about her day or helping the kids with their homework. I called out to her, my voice echoing in the stillness. No answer. I went upstairs and found her in our bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, her phone in her hands. She looked up at me, startled, as if I'd caught her doing something she shouldn't. Hey, she said too quickly. You're home early. I've been calling for you. I said, everything okay? Yeah. Fine, she replied, forcing a smile. Just texting Ben. He wanted some advice on his kitchen remodel. The name sent a jolt through me. I didn't know why at the time. I didn't even think twice about her texting him. They were friends. He was our friend, but something about the way she said his name, the way she would quite meet my eyes, set off a small alarm. In the back of my mind, I brushed it aside, not wanting to be the paranoid husband who reads too much into nothing. The next morning, I woke up to her phone buzzing on the nightstand. She was in the shower, so I reached over and glanced at the screen. It was a text from Ben. It read, "Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you." I stared at the message, my heart pounding, my brain scrambled for a logical explain, but there was none. The words were clear, unambiguous. My wife, my Emily, had spent last night with him. Not just texting, not just joking. Something had happened. Something I couldn't ignore. When she came out of the shower, I held up her phone. "What's this?" I asked, my voice trembling. She froze, water still dripping from her hair, her eyes locked on the screen. "It's not what you think," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Not what I think," I said, my anger bubbling to the surface. "He says last night was amazing. What else am I supposed to think?" Tears filled her eyes. "John, I'm so sorry. I never meant what I snapped. Never meant for me to find out. Never meant to betray me with someone he thought I could trust." She started crying, reaching out for me. But I stepped back. "How long?" I asked. "How long have this been going on?" "A few months," she admitted, her voice shaking. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did." My chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. My hands shook as I tried to process what she wasteling. "Me, you've been lying to me for months," I said, my voice breaking. "And with Ben, how could you do this to me, to us, to the kids? I know I hurt you." She said, "I know. I made a mistake. I felt so lost. And he was there. And don't." I interrupted. "Don't try to explain it. Don't try to justify it. You made a choice, Emily. You both did. And now you have to live with it." I left the room, slamming the door behind me. I could still hear her sobbing as I walked down the hall, my mind racing. The man I had trusted more than anyone outside my own family had betrayed me. The woman I had loved for more than a decade had betrayed me, and now I had to figure out what came next. After I left the bedroom, I spent the rest of the night on the couch, staring at the ceiling, my thoughts running in circles. My life had been a picture of stability, work, family, friendships, and now it felt like a house of cards crumbling under the weight of lies. Every memory with Ben, every laugh, We'd shared every moment he'd spent with my kids now felt poisoned. The next morning, Emily was in the kitchen, making breakfast as if it were just another day. When she saw me, she opened her mouth to speak, but I held up my hand. "Not now," I said sharply. The kids came bounding down the stairs, oblivious to the tension it kept. My tone neutral, asking about their plans for the day, what they wanted for lunch, but inside I was boiling as soon as they were off to school. I turned to Emily. "I need to see him alone." She froze, her hand hovering over the coffee pot. "John, please don't." "I'm not asking," I said. "I'm telling you I need to talk to him." I called Ben that afternoon, telling him we needed to meet. He didn't argue. He knew his voice was strained as he agreed to meet me at a nearby park. When I arrived, he was already there, sitting on a bench, his hands folded tightly in his lap. He looked up as I approached, and for a moment he seemed almost relieved. But then he saw my expression. "John has started standing up." I don't," I said, my voice firm. "Don't say anything until I'm done. I trusted you. Ben, I considered you family. I let you into my life, into my home, and you repaid me by stabbing me in the back." He flinched at my words, his shoulders slumping. "I never wanted to hurt you. Well, congratulations." I snapped. Did you hurt me? You hurt my wife. You hurt my kids. You've wrecked a friendship, a marriage, and a family. Tell me, was it worth? It was sneaking around with her, worth destroying everything. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked down at the ground, his jaw tight. "I made a mistake," he said finally. "A horrible mistake. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't." He sighed heavily. "I'm sorry, John. I can't say anything to make it right, but I am sorry." "Sorry," I repeated, my voice rising. "You're sorry. Do you know what I'm going through right now? Do you know what it's like to look at my kids and know their mother betrayed me? With the one person I thought I could rely on. You don't get to be sorry. You don't get to just walk away from this." I was shaking, my fists clenched at my sides. I wanted to hit him, to yell, to scream. But I didn't. I wasn't going to give him that satisfaction. "You and Emily can have each other," I said through gritted teeth, "because as far as I'm concerned, you're both out of my life." I turned and walked away, leaving him standing there. In silence, the rage was still there, but so was a strange sense of clarity. I couldn't change what had happened. I couldn't undo their betrayal, but I could control what happened next. When I got home, Emily was waiting for me. In the living room, she looked like she hadn't slept. "What did he say?" she asked quietly. "I don't care what he said," I replied. "I'm done, Emily. I can't do this anymore." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'll end it," she said desperately. "I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go to counseling. It's too late for that." I said, "You didn't just make a mistake. You made a choice, and that choice has consequences." The divorce process was brutal. The kids were confused and scared, and I did my best to shield them from the worst of it. Emily moved out, and I tried to keep things as stable as possible for the children. It wasn't easy, but I threw myself into being the best father I could be. I focused on their routines, their homework, their hobbies. They were my priority now. Over time, the anger faded. I didn't forgive her, not completely, but I stopped letting the betrayal consume me. I began to rebuild, surrounding myself with friends and family who truly cared. He found solace in my children's laughter, in the small moments of joy that reminded me life could move forward. Ben tried to reach out a few times, but ignored him. There was nothing left to say. He had shown me who he really was, and I had no interest in reopening that wound. As for Emily, she continued to ask for another chance, but I held firm. She'd made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. Looking back, it still hurts. Losing both a friend and a wife in one fell swoop is a pain I wouldn't wish on anyone. But I'm stronger now. I've learned to trust my instincts, to value the people who stand by me, and to let go of those who don't deserve my loyalty. The affair may have broken my trust, but it didn't break me, and for that I am grateful.